Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel, and welcome to the English Championship Game Week 7 preview and predictions. Yes, Game Week 7 we're at, another full weekend on Friday and Saturday. So we've got one game on Friday night and a full programme, or the rest of the programme, on Saturday. So after last week, I must admit, I thought last week was a little bit quiet in the Championship, a little bit tame. We had 5 1-0 wins and we had a 0-0. So 6 of the games, half of the fixture list, had 1 goal or less in their matches. So it was a little bit quiet, a little bit short on goals maybe last week. Let's hope this week makes up for it. There were still 1 or 2 eye-catching scores that we'll have a little chat about as we go through the predictions. And just to have a quick look at the league table, starting to take shape possibly now, 6 games in. I think 10 is usually the sort of the given figure, isn't it, to where people are likely now to spend their season. So Middlesbrough still at the top, 16 points from the 18, just the 2 points drop so far, and another hard-earned win on last Friday night against West Brom, winning 2-1. Other teams shuffling around, and as they do, the points are still quite close, but at the bottom we had the return of Chris Wilder, and he couldn't weave his magic. He didn't weave his magic on game 1 of his return. Sheffield United slipped to a 1-0 home defeat against Charlton. Bit of a surprise, possibly they had that. I thought the homecoming and the change that was perhaps needed, even though it was only short rain for Sellers, didn't really work. He didn't have the magic dust to sprinkle on proceedings at Bramall Lane, and they went down 1-0. So they have now lost all 7 of their competitive fixtures this season, 6 of those in the league, and they still have 0 points. And now they are 4 points behind their City rivals Wednesday. So even if they win now, they still stay bottom, and then you start to get a bit of the gap starts to feel a gap. But it's still early days. I'm sure Chris Wilder will get settled in and hopefully for Sheffield United return the team to some sort of stability and winning ways. We shall see. So there we are then. That's the top and bottom. Everybody else battling away between those two. 1 or 2, as I say, moments to reflect on. And the first up this weekend then is Friday night. West Bromwich Albion against Leicester City. Now, West Brom, as I say, slipped down away to Middlesbrough. No disgrace in that. And Leicester City had a bit of a surprise 0-0 draw. 0-0 draw against Coventry City. Coventry's goals have just dried up at the moment after that sort of 12-goal burst from nowhere. And I think they've only got 3 in their other 4 matches. So it's an interesting sort of start for them. But they'll be quite pleased with their point there, I'm sure. But their lack of goals at the moment for Coventry is a bit of a concern. One didn't think I'd be saying that a couple of weeks ago. So, Leicester City then are away at West Brom. I think a bit of a localish feel to it. Midlands sort of blanket for them. I'm going to go a draw. West Bromwich Albion 1, Leicester City 1. On to Saturday, 3 12:30s as always, and first up Coventry City, as we said, just spoke about, and they're playing Birmingham, so another little sort of Midlands gathering, as you might say. Coventry City, as I say, got that useful point up at Leicester. Not many teams will come away from Leicester with a point, I don't think, or more. And they're playing Birmingham City, who had a late show against Swansea, one of the other 1-0 wins. And they beat Swansea 1-0, sent them back down the M45, feeling sorry for themselves. And I think Birmingham may... is it a surprise? Yeah, I think it would be a surprise if Birmingham were to win this one. And I'm going to stay on the 1-0 theme. I think Birmingham will just nick this one again. They've been getting good results, but without any real flamboyance, if you like. Their goals haven't been there for Birmingham, but they are keeping clean sheets. And if you can do that, you've always got the basis of getting some points on the board. So, I think they'll do that again. I'm going to go Coventry City 0, Birmingham City 1. Second 12:30 game is Swansea. As I say, we had that really disheartening defeat at Birmingham given the time of when the goal was. They're home to Millwall, who had a rejuvenated, they have found their first win down at the New Den against Watford on Monday night. So they're up and running win-wise, and they will be quite pleased with that. Keep a clean sheet. Early goal as well, 10 minutes in, and that was it, I think. Well, it was it, but I think it was in the early 10 minutes. So, Swansea against Millwall. Swansea, I think, might want to just sort of put last Saturday behind them. And I think they'll just take this one. Swansea still playing some decent stuff, scoring some goals. And I think they'll, especially at home, so I'm going to take Swansea City 2, Millwall 1, giving home advantage the points there. Wrexham, who are the entertainers? Well, their matches are the entertaining matches, let's put it that way. Another 5 goals in their match on Saturday at Norwich, which was a disappointing result for Norwich, which we'll touch on a bit later. So Wrexham, are they starting to move at last? Let's have a look. Where are they in the table? Yeah, they're 16th at the moment, 7 points. But they'll be pleased with that win at Norwich. It's one of the more traditional sides. They've gone to a championship side now, a real outfit, and won there. Although Norwich are struggling a little bit this season so far. So they are now home to Derby. Now Derby are up and down at the moment. They lost at home to Preston at the weekend by a 1-0. They've been very disappointed with that, having won away at West Brom the week before. So there you go. That's the nature of this championship. So another 1-0, as it was. Derby County losing to Preston. Wrexham, as I say, beat Norwich 3-2. I think they might repeat that. They seem to be just starting to click. Can't keep clean sheets, but they are, as I say, at the moment, one of the more entertaining teams, and their matches are having the most goals in them. So I'm going to take another 5-goal thriller. Well, it'll be 5 goals. We don't know. It'll be a thriller, of course. So I'm going to go Wrexham 3, Derby County 2. On to the 3 o'clocks, and as I say, it's the rest of the fixture now on Saturday at 3 o'clock. First up, Charlton against Blackburn. Charlton now, where the party poopers, if it was a party, can't really say. After 6 losses or 5 losses, it was a party time. But you know what I mean. The return of a manager, the return just rejuvenates everybody and has that impetus again. But, as I say, Charlton were the party poopers, won up to Sheffield, nicked a win late on, thank you very much, 1-0. Job done for them. And Blackburn and Ipswich, I said about the games, that was a 1-0 scoreline, but it was postponed or abandoned because of an absolute deluge quite late on in the match. But the match will have to be replayed. And I don't know if anyone saw, Ipswich losing 1-0 late on, as I say, this deluge, hailstorm, whatever it was, completely waterlogged the pitch. The referee was out there doing his demo for the cameras, really. Rolling the ball along, it was going nowhere. Dropped it, and it just hit like a cannonball, just thud into the pitch. No bounce at all. Couldn't be played. Couldn't carry on. Ipswich fans cheering wildly in the background because they saw this probably as a sliding to defeat at the time, and suddenly they've got a reprieve. So it's there we go. So it's made the league table a little bit lopsided because obviously that match has to be replayed. They're the 2 teams that have only played 5, although we're into game week 7 now, as I say. So that was that game on Saturday. So Blackburn were winning, but so they'll take heart from that, I guess. And I think this will be a tough old match. Charlton, I think we're going to go Charlton 1, Blackburn Rovers 1, a point each. Now the said Ipswich Town will resume their programme, and they are home to Portsmouth. Now Portsmouth went down to Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. That was a surprise to me. I didn't have that recorded from last week by any means. I think the reverse scoreline, in fact. But Portsmouth slipped to a poor defeat. I didn't pick up any of the match really, other than seeing the goal clips since. So they'll be disappointed with that, as are the faithful. So that's now, of the 3 matches they've played at home, 2 defeats and a 1-0 win over Preston, which is a bit scrappy, but 1-0 win nevertheless. So they've got to be a bit careful because their home record really was the actual platform that they maintained their championship status last season. They have made improvements to the squad, although they haven't yet clicked, these new guys. And it is difficult just to throw a number of guys together and say, right, there you go, lads, get on with it. I'm sure John Massini doesn't quite do it like that, but there we are. Portsmouth then went down to a surprise home defeat against Sheffield Wednesday, 2-0. Ipswich had their game abandoned. I think Ipswich will take this one. I think they'll be too good for Portsmouth at home on the day. Ipswich Town 2, Portsmouth 0. Now on to Oxford United, who disappointed me, of course, because those who know, Bristol City is my team, and Oxford went to Ashton Gate and chalked up a really good 3-1 win. Fair play to them for doing that. Their first win of the season. By all accounts, it was a very end-to-end match, very entertaining match. So yeah, 4 goals at Ashton Gate, but 3 of them in the Bristol City net, which was not what they planned because they were looking to go second. Even a draw would have got them into second place, and then it just looked, the right thing. But they're still third, just clinging on to third at the moment with a goal difference of 6 because they have scored a few themselves. But that was disappointing defeat, so they've got to put that to one side. We'll talk about their game in a minute. So Oxford, yes, that was a really good win. They had been improving slightly. I think they had a poor start, but they were grabbing points, weren't they? And they grabbed a point against Coventry, if I recall, 2 each, when everyone just after their 12-goal salvo. So so Oxford, a very good win. Playing Sheffield United, who will need to start points soon. And let's see what Chris Wilder can wrestle up this weekend. I think there'll be goals around in this, and I think it'll be another draw at home for Oxford. I'm going to take Sheffield United to, I said this last week, but I'm going to say it again this week, to break their duck, get a point on the board, start things for the new manager, or the returning manager, I should say. Oxford 2, Sheffield United 2. Preston North End against Bristol City. Now, this is a tricky one for Bristol City in my book. Preston, I mentioned at the start of the season, they've been quietly going about their business. No headline making with their signings, but they just were putting together a decent squad, I thought, and it's sort of proving that way a little bit. They're up into 5th, 11 points, same as Bristol City. So this is this is a really big game for both teams, even this early in the season, just to start scoring points off teams that are now settling in to that same area in the table. So Preston, as I say, putting together a decent little run. Bristol City will be disappointed to have lost their first match, obviously, but let's see what Gerhard Straba is now made of. This is his first setback, so we'll see what he can bring out. However, I do think Preston are going to take this one. Just nick it. Won't be much in it. 2 sides of the same playing record this season so far. But I think home advantage and the fact that they've just got this renewed confidence in their side. I'm going to go Preston North End 2, Bristol City 1. Hurts me to say that, of course. But that's probably head over heart for sure. Then we have Sheffield Wednesday against Queen's Park Rangers. Sheffield Wednesday chalking up their first win down at Portsmouth, slightly unexpectedly. They withstood the Fratton faithful and the sort of really, they get on top of you down there, don't they? But Sheffield Wednesday stood up to all that, 2 good goals. And they're playing Queen's Park Rangers, who scraped home another 1-0, as I say. It was full of 1-0s last week. A 1-0 against Stoke. So nobody really stayed at pace with Middlesbrough this week, and now they've got a 4-point gap. I didn't mention that at the start, I should have done. They have a 4-point gap at the top. And Queen's Park Rangers then were the ones to take the points off Stoke. So will they continue that run? I think they will. I think they'll go up to Sheffield Wednesday, even though Sheffield Wednesday had that good win last week. They have shown signs of sort of fragility, haven't they, on the field issues. But you never know. It may spark them, but I'm going to take QPR to take it. But I'm going to try and generate some goals this weekend. I've given another 5 here. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3. 3 left to go. The first of those, Southampton. Now Southampton. For all Portsmouth's slight woes at home so far, they are still above Southampton by 2 points, which will please the locals around me as I speak. Southampton against Middlesbrough, so a tough one for Southampton to try and recover. They went down 3-1 at Hull. Brilliant result for Hull, who are really defying some of the my odds. What are they when they're at home? But yeah, Hull City are had down to struggle most of the season. They may well do yet, but I'm not wishing that on them by any means. But they're 14th, and they had a really excellent win over Southampton at the weekend. Southampton won't be happy with that. Will still, having dropped points against Portsmouth the week before, losing to Hull. He needs to get back on track. And I don't think Middlesbrough is the best remedy for that. So we've got Middlesbrough going down a long trip to Southampton, but they won't mind if they get points. And I think this will be a tough one, but I think it'll be a draw. I'm going to sit on the fence with it. Southampton 1, Middlesbrough 1. 2 to go. Stoke City against Norwich City. Now, Norwich under a little bit of pressure. Liam Manning's gone there, as we know, from Bristol City last year. Got them in the top 6 against the odds there. But it's not proving quite the homecoming, as in he's a hometown boy, a Norwich boy. Not quite the homecoming I'm sure he wanted. They have got 7 points, so they're not absolutely struggling. But they are struggling at home. I think they've lost 3 times at home. Out of the 4 home games they've had, I believe that's their record. Sorry if I've got that wrong, Norwich fans. But they certainly lost at the weekend to Wrexham. 3-2 as we know. Stoke, as we've said, went down to QPR. I think Stoke will take this one. They'll want to just prove that their sort of start to the season isn't going to be short-lived. Positive start to the season isn't going to be short-lived. And it's a chance here to put a further dent in Norwich's start to the season. As I say, the fans weren't happy at Carrow Road on Saturday, and I saw a bit of the fallout because I'm following that a little bit because of Liam Manning from last year for Bristol City. So I'm not wishing him any against it. I just want to see how he's going to get on there, because I thought they were very similar clubs. Well, they are very similar clubs. Right, okay, what do I think? I think Norwich are going to just go under this week away from home. Their away records have been okay, it has to have been. So Stoke City 2, Norwich City 1. And finally, last but never least, the final game on Saturday, still at 3 o'clock, is Watford against Hull City. As I say, Hull City flying high in Hull City terms, really, from where they were started and where they expected perhaps to be. Well, some people expected them to be, not themselves, will they have belief in their own ability. Brilliant 3-1 win, as we said, against Southampton. Watford went down to Millwall Monday night. That was the final game of last week's programme. So that was a tough game, but it's 1-0. Surprise, surprise, it was 1-0. Another 1-0 game. So here we are then, Watford against Hull. Hull, I think, will put up a decent fight. Watford are struggling, there's no doubt about that. They're 5 points just above the bottom 3. Derby being the third team at the bottom, under the line at the moment with the 2 Sheffield teams. So Watford really do need the results, and it's a home game. You must win your home games if you're struggling. You must win your home games anyway, really. You've got to try and make your home ground a fortress. I think Hull will nick a point here, though, following on from their excellent win last week. I think I'm going to give Hull a point. Watford 1, Hull City 1. So there we are. Job done for another week. Another round of matches to look forward to. Let's hope for a few more goals this week. I've tried to throw a few goals in my predictions. Let's hope they can not throw them in the net, but get them in the back of the net this weekend, and we have something to really get into. So there we are. It's taking shape slowly. Game week 7. I think by the next international break, we'll know where teams are likely to be battling their season by then. Well, anyway, that's enough from me for another week. Please enjoy your weekend, your footballing weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and more importantly, or not as importantly, please subscribe to the channel, get your friends and family involved, or just to come and have a look and see what the excellent work is being done here on this channel. It is important. It does really help the lads, the guys behind the scenes, to have you pressing that like button. It's a click, no more than that. Okay, I'm going to click off now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Take care and see you soon.